99.7 KRED.
Hey, we need to step the up, man.
Aurora, Colorado.
Don't that feel good when your crowd behind you? You know what I'm saying? Let's give them something to cheer for now. Hey! 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 It's
You're now listening to the sounds of
Running Wild with Brandon Jackson.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I didn't think that a sad "Are you kidding me" would be the clip that I would be playing this week. Maybe a more excited one is the one I thought we would go for, but after a game like that, I think that's probably the appropriate response. Hey everybody, it's Brandon Jackson, 99.7 KRED Aurora. If my voice sounds a little different this week, I apologize. My voice is a bit shot. Hard partying there in Miami. Good times, and unfortunately, after such a loud and raucous game like we had at Miami this past week, sometimes your voice doesn't come out for the better. Hope you all are doing well. How are y'all doing today? Yeah, crazy game, wasn't it? 31-24 down the wire with the number 24 team in the nation, the Miami Hurricanes. An up close and personal look at Scott Slaughter, man. That man is an absolute animal. What a monster. He was absolutely all over the field on defense for the Hurricanes, and he was truly a big difference maker. But despite all of that, the Aurora Red Foxes hung in pretty much all the way down the stretch, had a chance to tie it at the end, and then got picked off by Sheldrick Redwine, the Miami corner. What a fantastic game overall for them. I thought it was, start to finish. Well, maybe not start. They started off really bad on the wrong foot, and I was like, oh man, there's no way that this team has a shot at beating the Miami Hurricanes. But that turned around quickly. It does not take long to really get yourself back into a game. They stuck with what worked with them. The running attack, the run defense was outstanding in this game. I'm really impressed thus far by how well they're controlling the gaps and really shooting through and being able to get to ball carriers a lot better this year. It's been very, very impressive. And overall, the morale of the team is very high. They obviously were a little disappointed that they didn't come out with the win against Miami this week, but other than that, the spirits are high. They got the first big win of the season. They feel confident after this game against Miami, and they go in this week going up against New Mexico State. Now, that's not to discredit New Mexico State or anything. They did beat us last year, but I think this year is going to be a completely different story. Defensively, this run defense looks ready. They are going up against a run option attack, which is a little different, and is going to call for them to really kind of QB spy, pay a lot of attention to the quarterback and to Larry Rose, their outstanding running back there. He's going to be a big focus as he's currently the leading rusher for the Aggies. But I seriously think they can come in next week, even though they're away again. We don't get them home for quite some time. They can go in and just absolutely kick the door down against New Mexico State, and I think it'll be a pretty good game. Overall, I'm very interested in seeing how well Aurora will do in this game, because they exceeded expectations against Miami. Now, the one thing that did bother me a little bit was just, how reliant now they've become on that run game. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been an advocate to see Marcus Timberlake go ahead and get 1,000 yards this year. But at this rate, I mean, it could very well be that they end up with tandem 1,000-yard runners this year. It's almost insane because they've been going to the ground so much. It may end up being D'Souza and Timberlake who go back there and have the 1,000-yard seasons. You saw D'Souza rip off that big run. If he can just keep the sack yardage down, I think that's definitely possible. And this offense altogether has been, really good on the ground, but the passing game is completely gone. No passing touchdowns yet. We're not seeing a lot of big plays or dynamic plays or anything like that through the air, which I think is something that this offense is certainly missing. And I don't know if Mashburn maybe starts putting in some packages for Chandler Gaines to get in there just so we can get the ball through the air at some point, because there are going to be some games we're going to be behind. But for right now, I think that the offense is stellar in its rushing attack, and hopefully DeSousa's intermediate passing attack is enough to get us through. High school football starts this week. We'll actually be doing a live broadcast of that, so please pay close attention to your calendars. We're going to be doing it at about 5 p.m. this weekend once it gets underway. And I'll be calling the whole live broadcast here. You know where to join me, as always. And remember, if you have a question or anything, please leave it in the comment section. We'll be sure to, we'll try to answer it next week. I know I get a lot of them, so I always want to make sure that we try to cycle in some new commenters every single week, because hey, everybody runs wild here. We want to try to get as much of the community in as possible. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the first question this week. This one comes from B. Hicks, as we're showing the practices right now up on the website. With speed being an issue for a lot of receivers, would Mashburn ever consider lining a wide receiver like Irving up in the backfield to try to force a matchup with the linebacker? And this is B. Hicks, Run Wild, from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Hey, Run Wild. I don't really know if he would put someone like Irving back there. I think that he has that speed mismatch with someone like Paul Phillips, who we haven't seen a lot of packages with yet. I think maybe over time that'll happen. We've definitely seen a little bit of Timberlake and Winslet lining up in the slot this year. And I think there have been plays where Irving is lined up where they had a QB power kind of look where they want to go Wildcat, and they've had Irving line up as the quarterback in that situation last year. I don't know if we'll actually see a situation like that, however, with Mashburn kind of going full steam ahead with Irving in the backfield. Irving, I think, is, let me not say he's too big or too tall necessarily to be back there, but I think his skill set best fits him at a wide receiver role rather than having him in there at running back. Let's go to question number 2 here. This one is from Edgar Allan Fro. Yeah, he's back. I gotta remember him from season 1. Do you think Gaines should have gotten some playing time down the stretch? Seeing how passing the ball would have been better in that situation instead of committing to the run. Run wild, Edgar. Yeah, this is actually what I talked about a little bit earlier. In that particular possession, I don't necessarily think it was the pass that doomed us. Now, it was that specific pass where DeSousa was looking for Chucko Farije, and Sheldrick Wetwine was just in position and picked that ball out of the air. And I don't think DeSousa throws he throws a very flat ball. You need someone there who can put a little bit more touch and loft to that pass if you want to give Chuck a chance. I mean, he has a 6'6" frame. You can't that's a throw you can't miss, even if it is in traffic. You have to put it in a position where he can actually go up and make a play with it, not in a position where the corner has the best opportunity at it. Again, especially with this size. Down the stretch, yeah, maybe I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Gaines kind of slinging the rock back there. But again, I mean, what was working the entire game? It was that option run attack that we had going on, relying way more on the run game. Now, I understand, yeah, you only had about like 3 minutes left in that last possession. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see it. And I kind of made my case a little earlier about why I think that would be so. Let's go to another question here. This one is from William Burr. The run defense was amazing. What do you think this will do for the team in the future? Do you think you guys can build from this? Run wild. Hey, Run Wild. I think, of course, this is something that we can build on top of, and we already have some young guys already up there on the line. I believe Rangi Unatoa is still here for another 2 more years after this season. You have Dylan Sherville coming up on the line. Rashawn Hendricks is starting to step up a little bit. And then you still got linebackers. Well, I mean, Craig Kilgore will be gone after this year. But there's still Montgomery Ward, Quentin Cage. Those guys are fast. Those guys get into that backfield, with reckless abandon. I love their play. There's still some depth there with Buck Jones and Kai Wynn. There's a lot of depth there. And I think that the better that they do in recruiting, the better opportunities that they'll have to, to really improve upon that run defense. So, fortunately, it doesn't seem like, there's going to be a lot of seniors leaving out come the third year. The third year may be really problematic, but I think for right now, we definitely have something we can build upon with the way that the defense has been playing thus far. All right, let's go to another question here. This one is from Brady Hinckley. He noticed a lot of drops in this game because D'Souza would lead receivers right into a defender. Is it more on the receivers to hang on to the ball, or do you think D'Souza should do a better job of not laying his receivers out to dry? Run wild. Yeah, I do completely agree with that. The idea that D'Souza did leave a lot of his receivers out to dry. I mean, especially there were some plays where it's like Scott Slaughter's right across the middle of the field. Guys know that guy is going to come off and come straight through and try to rip their heads off. And there was one pass in particular where I believe he was trying to throw to Marcus Timberlake, and it's only like an 8-yard, 9-yard pass, and he put it in such a position. He put Timberlake in such a position that he's going to take the hit the second his hands get on the ball, and it's Slaughter coming through too. And Slaughter jars that ball straight out. So, no, I actually do agree that that's a bit of a problem, and D'Souza's got to stop doing that, along with just kind of starting to slide down as well. It's frustrating because some of those drops, I just look and I'm like, if he just better leads the receiver or just makes a smarter throw, that's not a problem. But again, this offense is working best when he's on the field and they're going with this heavy run attack. So I believe for right now, D'Souza is just the answer. And but yes, I do want to see him not kill his receivers as well. These are some talented guys, and we got to hang on to them. Chuck's a national treasure at this point. We'll go into one more question here. Let me take a look. All right, let's go to this one. This is an interesting one. I haven't even given this one any consideration. This one from Fade Runner. This is a bit premature, but do you think that Dante Devine has the potential to be Aurora's first NFL draftee? Tough loss, but taking the 24th ranked team to the wire is amazing for a second-year program. Hashtag Run Wild. Run Wild. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, again, this is only our second year, and we took Miami to the wire. We almost put their backs against the wall, and it's actually funny. I didn't mention this. Mashburn did say that if they had to have scored the touchdown, they would have actually gone for 2 in that game. So. They didn't want to sit around and wait and have to go in overtime or anything like that. No, they wanted to put that game away and decide it right then and there. But, it's interesting because Dante Devine was huge in that game. He had 2 interceptions. He was outstanding. It's weird. I think that he may not necessarily be NFL draft potential, though he does have the measurables, and I mean, right now he's got the stats to back it up. I mean, he's 7 career interceptions right now at Aurora University, and he's certainly proven that even against a top NFL quarterback like Brad Kai, I mean, this is certainly going to boost him and make teams want to take a look at him. I think that the potential is definitely there. I just don't necessarily know if teams will actually jump and try to draft him. But I definitely think he should be, and I definitely think he can play on Sundays. The question is just how does he get there? But yeah, no, I love the kid. I think he's a brilliant kid, smart on the field. He's an honor student here, 3.5 GPA. He definitely, I think, is the perfect representation or the perfect representative, I should say, for this school and this program. And I think if he were to get drafted, that he would probably be the one guy, right off the board, the first guy that I would love to see that happen for. So yeah, I think he has the potential to do it, and I hope that if he does opt to go that route and that's available for him, that he succeeds and does well in the NFL. All right, that's it for the questions this week. We'll jump again. We'll be broadcasting live the high school football game as there's still a lot of recruiting to talk about. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. This is 99.7 KRED. Aurora, thanks so much for dealing with me and my terrible voice this week, but we'll be right back.